What's up, guys? John Bird III here. We're back again for another video, and we got a little treat. We got some packages to order. So, literally last week, I think I've ordered 4 different packages full of stuff. So we're gonna jump right into to see what I actually got. But if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified of when we drop new videos. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into both of these packages right here. I think I know what they are, but we're gonna go ahead and see. So we're gonna start with the small one first. Sound like some baits. I literally made 2 Strike King orders and I've made 2 Lose orders in the last week. So let's see what it is. And we got, get out of here, Team Lose Custom Light. So I bought a new custom light reel. Love this thing. 4.9 ounces. My thought process behind buying this reel, I want to get back to my roots of bass fishing. You know that I like rods, reels, finding the right setups for the techniques. And one thing I've gotten away from in doing all of this is my bread and butter in which I started bass fishing. And that's the good old Texas rig. So, my first Texas rig setup, well, not my first, but my go-to Texas rig setup was a 7-foot medium heavy fast action rod. And it was the gear ratio on the reel was an 8:3 to 1, but this is 7.5. So don't really matter, but it used to be a 3/16 ounce weight and a owner offset wide gap worm hook. Best hook out there on the market besides that and the haymaker. And I used to always have on either a Strike King Fat Baby finesse worm or a Strike King finesse worm. Those were that setup with the rod, reel, baits, line, all that stuff. 17-pound line, that was my jam. So the purpose of buying this reel was to go back to my roots. So the custom light is good for throwing lightweight baits. And when you're throwing a lightweight, like a 3/16 ounce weight on with a Fat Baby finesse worm or a regular Strike King finesse worm, depending on the rod that you use, that can be a little tough to throw. And when you have a reel like the custom light that's made to throw lighter weight baits, that is why I wanted to get this reel for that particular technique. Now, rod. What rod am I planning to put this on? So this weekend I actually have a tournament on Santee. I'm going to try it on the Andy Montgomery 7-1 skipping rod. If I don't feel like that is the rod that I need, I might be buying a new rod. On top of all this tackle. Golly. But I might be buying another rod. And I have a rod in mind that I want to try, but I want to try that Andy Montgomery 7-1 skipping rod first because I have 2 of those. Love that rod. Great all-purpose rod. So I want to see if it does what I need it to do. And if it does that, then that's going to be the perfect rod. But if not, I have another one in mind that I'm going to try. But I picked up all new custom light reel. Definitely, this is my 3rd custom light. So, not including the shallow spool. So, love this reel. Like I said, I can say a lot about it, but just to keep it simple, good for lightweight baits. And my old Texas rig setup is a lightweight setup. I love that. Got so many bites, caught so many big ones on there. And actually, this fish mount that's behind me of a 9-pound, it was 920 if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 920. Caught that on Santee. Literally that exact setup, except for instead of a Strike King finesse worm, I had a stick bait on there. I forget which one it was, but I just had a regular Cinco style bait on there. So going back to my roots, maybe I catch another one like that this weekend. So we gonna see. Package number 2. What do y'all think this is? Again, this box is a little bit bigger. So it's either a bunch of baits or the juice. And if y'all like these unboxing videos, make sure you leave a comment down below just letting me know that you like these unboxing videos. So when I get new orders, I will make sure I include these type of videos whenever I order new stuff. So if you like this type of stuff, make sure you leave that in the comment section below. So, more good paper. And then we got another box inside of a box. Ooh. Ooh, boy, we got some juice right here. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Shout out to GHG Hustle. If you ain't never watched his channel, yes, Lord. That's one of his statements there. We got an all-new Custom Pro. But what else we got? We got two of them things. Yes, Lord. That's what I'm talking about. Two new Custom Pros. So I'm going to bring y'all into my thought process as to why I bought two Custom Pros, aside from the reels just being fire. So the gear ratio that I bought is 6:8 to 1. I bought two 6:8 to 1s, so it's pretty cool. Got a little foam package in there. Got your reel in there. I bought two 6:8 to 1s specifically for cranking. So I'm going to be throwing 1.5s, 1.5 flats, chick magnet juniors, gravel dog, 8s and 10s on both of these reels. My current crankbait reels, y'all see my crankbait breakdown video. I was actually using a custom light, and my reason being for doing that is because they're good at throwing lighter weight baits. So the gravel dog can be a little hard to throw from time to time, depending on the rod that you use. So the custom light made throwing the gravel dog, the 1.5, the chick magnet, that's a hard bait kind of to throw too because it's flat sided. And so I needed a reel that can throw baits like that, especially like the 1.5 flat. That sucker is hard to throw. So I needed a reel that can throw that style of bait. And so going back to last year, this time, we were actually testing out the Custom Pro. And we went out on a windy day and we were throwing the 1.5 flat. And we were making really good long casts. Didn't have many backlashes, probably none at all if I remember correctly. And once we dialed it in, it was perfect. So I knew then, I was like, I'm going to have to buy two of these. But like I said, I was cranking with a 7.5, and I felt like I was being beat up when I was cranking with a 7.5. So switching to the 6.8, I feel like that's the best gear ratio for cranking in my opinion. Now, if you did the math to say the difference between inches per turn, so let's look at the custom light box. Where did I put that? All right, the custom light box says that at a 7.5 to 1, it brings in 28 inches of line. So that's per full 360. So one full 360 brings in 28 inches of line. The Custom Pro brings in 25 inches of line, one full handle turn. Now you may say that's 3 inches. Does that make that much of a difference? I think it depends, right? So when you're making those long casts and you're cranking, depending on the rate of speed that you're cranking, with the 7.5, you may bring in more line when you're cranking it faster. When you're cranking it slow, so you make a couple turns, stop, make a couple turns, stop, making a couple turns, stop, you might save yourself a little bit of, you may bring in a little bit more line with the 7.5, but I don't think if you're cranking in that particular pattern, you're not bringing that bait in that much faster. When you're cranking it slow like this or consistently, yeah, you may bring that bait in a little bit faster, but when you're doing that crank, stop, it's gonna be hard to tell the difference there. But when you're fighting that fish, like with a crankbait, a lot of the fight with fishing a crankbait is with the rod itself because they're dogging and you need a rod that is going to be able to absorb some of that shock and all that when you're trying to play the fish because you got treble hooks. I mean, it is what it is. We lose fish on treble hooks. So I wanted a 6.8. Maybe for me, it was more so a mental thing, but you hear a lot about, oh man, you need this gear ratio for cranking, this gear ratio for cranking. And depending on the person that you're talking to, the lakes they fish, the region of the country, that varies so much. So I wanted to keep it simplistic, and I wanted to, at least for my sanity, go with a 6.8 because I felt like that is the way to go. But also knowing that I know how this reel performs. Y'all seen me mention the Custom Pro before. Got one down there, 7.5 to 1 gear ratio, flipping, jig skipping. That's that bad boy right there. But with these two, I'm literally going to be cranking with both of these. So again, 1.5s, 1.5 flats, chick magnets, chick juniors, gravel dogs. Is there anything I'm missing? Maybe 2.5s, 3XDs. A 3XD. Love a 3XD. the smaller profile, but the build allows it to dive to 12 foot. And if with the right size line, depending on what line you get, you can get it down to maybe close to like 14 foot. But that 3XD gets big, and I love that bait. So this is be another one that's good for it. The only downside to the Custom Pro, if I had to say anything, would be in this particular arena, we're talking cranking, would be line capacity. So I'm gonna read it to you just so you know. I don't like reading all specs. You can go find that anywhere online, but so we can have the conversation. It holds 90 yards of 12-pound fluorocarbon or mono. So when I think about that, if I'm making a long cast with a 3XD, because you're talking about getting it down, I think 12 foot, that's a mid diamond crankbait. Somewhere in that 6 to 12 is mid range, mid depth, in my opinion. So when you start getting into bigger crankbaits, this could not be enough line for you. So when I start thinking about Series 5 crankbaits, and I keep looking up because I'm looking up at my bait wall. So Series 5 crankbaits, 5XDs, 6XDs. This won't be the best reel to make those long, really long bomb casts like that because of just line capacity. When I get into those bigger crankbaits that weigh a lot more, that's when I'm going to wherever is that, somewhere over here. Yeah, BB1 Pro. So again, if I had to say if there's a downside to this reel, I would say line capacity. But for what I'm using for, it's perfectly fine because you won't spool this reel either. So people like to say, "Oh man, I can cast all that line off of there." You couldn't cast 90 yards if you really wanted to. Like, let's just be realistic. You just can't. So, and live scope can prove that. All you gotta do is set your range way far out, and you can see where that bait landed at. You ain't gonna cast out no 90 yards. So this is plenty enough to do everything you need to do. Technically, in full transparency, the Pro SP is just enough line to do everything you need to do. Aside from, especially if you're a shallow water angler, but I'm also talking about just aside from shallow water angling, the Pro SP has enough line to do anything you need to do aside from throwing a big crankbait, point blank period. But that's why I bought another or two more Custom Pros, because these are going to be my cranking reels. So again, I named all the crankbaits I'm throwing here, and I even forgot to name one of my favorite ones, the Mock Bouncer. Definitely going to be throwing that sucker on here. So that is the unboxing for the day. 2 Custom Pros and another Custom Light. I love the Custom family as a whole. So whether it's the Custom Pro, Custom Light, or even this is the Gen 2 Custom. So the new Custom is also another great reel too. So if you want to see a review on the new Custom, leave a comment down below. I may pick up another Custom to do a side-by-side comparison between this one and Gen 3. So if you want to see that, leave a comment down below. But those are the reels I picked up. So this weekend, I'm about to go ahead and put some 12-pound fluorocarbon line on there because that's my go-to size line for cranking. Some guys crank with 10. There are a lot of guys that I've talked to that like to crank with 15. And I'm like, that seems like that's a little bit too heavy for cranking. But when I hear their thought process, I'm like, that makes sense. So maybe I'll try 15. Maybe I won't. But 12 is my go-to cranking size. 12-pound contra, that's my cranking line. That's what I throw on all my crankbait rods, from small crankbaits all the way up to a 6XD. I throw it all on 12. So if you throw a different size line on cranking, leave that comment down below. Let me know what size line you use. Let me know the brand that you use. Let me know the type. Let me know all that down in the comment description. But that's it for today's video. So I got to get some rods rigged up. I got a lot of rods to rig up because I'm prepping for 2 tournaments within a week apart from each other. So I'm gonna fish Santee for 2 days, Friday, Saturday. I'm going to practice on Murray on Sunday, and then I got a tournament next week. So I'm basically prepping for 2 totally different tournaments. One that's probably gonna be shallow water, just old school, just my type of fishing, flipping, all that stuff, potentially. And then on Murray, I don't know what it's gonna be right now, because I don't know. I got a whole lot of thoughts on what it could potentially be. But one thing for sure I'm gonna have rigged up is a doggone jig. So I definitely hope to put a 20 bag on the jig on Murray right about now. That would be so much fun. Or the hybrid hunter. So, but y'all don't know nothing about that. But anyway, that's it for today's video. I'm JB3. I got to get back to living the dream. I got to rig rods, and Thanksgiving is coming up. So by the time y'all seeing this video, Thanksgiving will be already over with. So happy Thanksgiving to y'all. And one thing I just want to mention again, don't forget, you can still save money, 20% off on all reels on Tackle Warehouse right now until December the 3rd. So when this video airs, you will still have a couple days left to save. So you can even save money on the new Custom Pro or the Custom Light. So I'm JB3. I'll catch you later.